You all appreciate it.
Don't you know that love is sweet?
And dear mama,
There's no one above you,
you all appreciate it.
Don't you know that love is
Pour out some liquor and I reminisce. Cause through the drama I can always depend on my mama.
Good morning, good morning. You're listening to the Hofstra Morning Wake Up Call right here at 88.7 FM. Little Tupac, which is unusual for us in the morning, but the song is Dear Mama, and I just wanted to play that because Mother's Day is coming up, and it is 2 days away. It's on Sunday, and happy early Mother's Day to all the mamas out there doing the things that they need to do for their children. Mothers are such super humans. Like, they really are. I know there's this commercial from Hallmark that's been playing about, like, all the things that moms do, and it's just like, when you think about it, it's like moms really do so much. They barely sleep, I feel like, and they wake up and they go to work and they get the kids ready and they get everything ready for the household. If they have a husband, they cook for their husbands and help them get ready. Like, moms are just awesome.
They're
like
superstars.
Oh my God. I just, I tell people all the time, like, I really feel like one of my vocations in life is to become a mom. And like, I just really can't wait till that, like, I can wait, but I can't wait at the same time, until that time comes where I'm able to, bring someone into this world and like raise them. And it's just beautiful. So like, seriously, happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there who may be listening. And right now, thank you. Yes, definitely. Thank you for all that you do. And like I said, with Mother's Day approaching, we would like to highlight all the beautiful, influential, selfless, and loving mothers out there. Our final guest for today's show is Barbara Davila Dowling, and she is a super mom, and she is the creator of Ethan's Little Piece. And her son, Ethan, is autistic and has inspired her increasing yearning of advocacy after several experiences that made her realize the medical profession and Board of Education was flawed in regard to providing needed services. She set out to educate herself to inform other parents that getting help for their children is not a hopeless fight. And here to talk more about her journey is Barbara. So good morning, Barbara.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited. Thank you for having me on your show.
No problem. And thank you for being with us today. And happy early Mother's Day to you, because like I mentioned, you are really a super mom, and I've been following you on Instagram, and I, did more research and looked at the website and the Facebook, and I think what you're doing for your son and all of the people that you're reaching out to is an amazing thing. So just wanted to say that first and foremost.
Thank you.
So may you tell us about some of the experiences that you encountered that kind of led you to believe that the services are lacking, especially regarding the support for special needs children?
The experience that actually showed me the flaws in the system was when my son entered kindergarten, and he was put in a regular education school, but in a special education classroom. And in the Board of Education in New York City, when they put you in a regular education school, but in a special education classroom, it doesn't matter what your child's disability is, you're all kind of lumped in that same classroom. And, a child with autism would need a different education as, a child that's disabled in a wheelchair. They don't have developmental disabilities most of the time. They just can't walk. And you would teach that child differently than you would someone who is a visual learner, like Ethan is. So through that experience and, seeing my son literally fall through the cracks, it prompted me to advocate for him. And, I had a half a year campaign where I, wrote my political, I'm sorry, the word escaped me. I wrote my politicians and got politically involved in order to get my son to a better school, something that was appropriate for his educational needs. And, I'm grateful that he's in a wonderful school now, but there's so many children, not in New York. I mean, I've spoken to people in different countries. There's somebody following us in Kuwait who they, have very little resources for these children. I mean, don't they deserve an education just like everybody else?
Absolutely.
Right, exactly. And Barbara, this honestly touches very close to home for me, too, because my sister, she is a 13-year-old, and she has autism. She's on the spectrum of autism.
On the spectrum.
Yeah, and she, honestly, my mother, she has addressed certain issues sometimes when it comes to finding the best programs at our school in regards to, like, supporting my sister and, just really giving her the best assistance. So I think, like we were saying, this is a great program that you have that reaches out to so many people, and you address these issues. And not only that, but you're taking advantage of social media with your blog, where I found that there was even one of the pieces written by Carrie Horan, 10 things your child's special education teacher wishes you knew. And like I said, this is something that not only related to me, but I feel like can relate to a lot of people, as you were saying, with this issue of finding the best educational programs. And one point she makes is, like, not to have your child depend so much on these services, aside from finding the best services, try not to have them depend so much on them, like therapy sessions and such, because then they become very dependent. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what are your opinions on that? Because I know you do a lot in terms of, as I said, finding these programs that are best for, all of these different children.
I mean, obviously, they're going to need certain therapies and programs to help them with issues that they have. But there are a lot of things that parents can do at home, and this is stuff that we cover, or we try to cover on our blog. We're on a whole lot of different media sites. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We have a Twitter account. We also have our blog at www.ethanslittlepiece.com, and we try to address these different issues and give parents things that they can do at home in order to, kind of assist what they're doing at school, because you need these children need structure across the board. Not everybody is as severe on the spectrum as everybody else, but, a lot of them do with a really good schedule, and, there's things that you can do at home, pick schedules for the wall, and it's hard to explain on the radio, but if you checked out the website or our media pages, there are explanations. I put up examples. I try to, get down to the basic level of learning about autism. How did I feel coming into the situation? I was familiar with autism just a little bit, but I had to, it's like a whole other language you have to learn. And it seems overbearing, and it can be hard for people, but another part of the reason why we started this is to start a community, to have a family. One of our parents who follow us recently, a lot of parents that follow us like to say autism families stick together. And that's what we're trying to create, a place where we can help each other and support one another. And eventually when I, get my finances together and I'm able to put in my legal paperwork, I really want to be, like, instead of an awareness page, an advocacy agency where I help these parents learn how to fight for their children's needs and wants and, hopes and dreams, I guess.
And what advice would you give to the parents or adults or anyone in general who are struggling with their children's school to help provide the services that they may need, special needs or otherwise?
The squeaky wheel always gets the oil. Never give up. Keep going. Remember that these are your children and nobody knows them better than you do. Just keep going. Everybody has a boss. Somebody answers to everybody. And sometimes it just means it takes a little time to Google on the internet to find out who it is you need to talk to. But, know that nobody's going to fight for your children more than you will, so you have to put in that time and that energy. It's a long process, and unfortunately, because of budgets and, the system, it can be a hard, long fight. I had to fight, 6 months because they took my son's power away, and that incident was, turned out to be a wonderful thing because now he's in a great program. It wasn't about getting an okay para back. It was now about putting him in a wonderful school. So, if you don't stop and you keep going, you're going to get what you need for your kids. You just have to, be patient and do it the right way. There's a lot of emotion involved, and people get upset, and, they go into these schools, and the system, they use that opportunity to ban you from the school. I've known a couple of parents that have had it done for them. And I'm not saying, that it happens every place you go and it's some kind of a conspiracy, but the system is flawed.
Yeah.
Yes, and with that, it sounds like, and I again relate to, as I said, it's not just one person going through this. You're all going through this together. I know how hard it is, not only for your son, but just you and your family trying to solve these issues. So I just wanted to ask you, because it's really incredible that you're doing this and you're taking it forward, and you're applying this to all different people who are also have the same problem in their life. How has your experience as a mother with a child with autism changed your perspective on life, both anything positively, negatively?
Oh, that's a good question. My son, his autism, he was nonverbal until he was 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you want the best for your kids, and you want their dreams to come true. You just, you have this baby, and all your hopes and dreams are on this kid. And, Ethan, he just had this sad little face. He was always a happy baby, but he couldn't talk. Mm. And I remember, I don't want to offend anybody because I'm Christian, and I try not to, go too into religion when I am dealing with my organization, because we deal with many people from different walks of life. Yeah, I understand. But I used to, kneel down in my kitchen and pray to God, do whatever you need to do to me. If I have to lose my life so that my son can have a better one, I'll take that deal. Yes. And I remember being scared forever that my son was not going to talk. Mm. And, one day he did. Mm. And, he's not conversational like your average neurotypical 9-year-old, but he can tell me his needs and wants, and that is enough for me. Wow. And my son has taught me the importance and the beauty of words, and I wanted to be a writer when I was younger, and words were always something that was very important to me. I was always told to be careful for the words that I use, because the words that I use touch or hurt other people. Mm-hmm. And my son taught me the value of words, to be able to tell somebody I love you. There's so many parents of autistic children that can't hear those words. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking. But you know that the love is there. Yes. And, I found from the autism community that these parents, you talk about super moms, and yes, all moms, because, even my mom is the best to me, and I'm not autistic, but these are really parents that sacrifice, that, everything in their life is about this child achieving their dreams and being okay and being well. Mm-hmm. And it's a moving thing. I really can't wait. I have big dreams. I know it might seem a little silly because I'm just starting out to some people, but I tell everybody, I have big dreams. We're going to take Super Ethan around the world. Mm-hmm. And I really want to change things. I want to help people. We shouldn't have to fight. The Constitution gives you certain rights and guarantees, and why are we fighting for education? Yeah. It makes no sense. We spend useless dollars on things that don't make sense, and then there's kids that can't get an appropriate placement because the Board of Ed is turning them away.
Yes, yes.
Wow. How is this? I mean, one out of 68 kids is autistic. That's almost half our population.
Yeah. I know.
It's a huge number.
This is, I mean, obviously, this is not something that's new, but it's just interesting to see how many different, or not just organizations, but I guess news about it comes forth as years go by. And, because as you said, there's a large part of the population with people on the autistic spectrum, and they're very special individuals. And people, I think this is great that you're talking about this, because I know too, I think people connect these misconceptions of autism to these individuals with these special needs. And I don't think that's right, because there really are such special people. And since it is on a spectrum, there are a large range of definitions and traits that go along with this. And, I just think, like you were saying, there are people, too, that need these opportunities, whether it be at school or in the workplace or socially, and their voice should be heard as equally as much as others. So we really appreciate and admire your work, Barbara, online and just abroad, with Ethan's little piece. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, it's okay. You actually touched upon something that I spoke about recently, and I would like to say something about that.
Of course.
My son is 9 years old, and of course, like all the other little kids, he likes to go to, the park and play. And there have been situations where, he functions maybe on a 5-year-old level. Depending, it depends on his skills. His age will vary depending, however. There's been a lot of times now, he goes to the park and he wants to play with kids who are big like him. And they are now at the age where they're starting to realize what is wrong with this kid, because he flaps his hands, and when the noise is too much for him, he folds his ear over and he hums. And one little girl actually said to him the other day, "You're dirty, get away from me." And it's sad. Extremely sad, especially for a parent, and brings tears to my eyes even to think about it.
Yeah, I feel you.
That my son would one day realize that he's being rejected because of something that has nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to educate the public too. For parents to educate their kids, because it's not like when we grew up that we're not going to run into these people. It's a different world today, and they're everywhere. And with so many autistic people, why is it so hard to treat them like everybody else?
And
it shouldn't be.
And that's definitely why I wanted to get you on the show as well, because I know like a lot of different organizations have their viewpoints on different situations, but I felt like yours was so unique as well, because you are the mother of this child that you are advocating so heavily for. And I love that you're not just doing it for yourself. You want to give back to the community and educate and involve and get people together. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. And I know having a support system like you behind him, Ethan is going to be just fine. And he's going to still, be raised in love and know that he is not, he's not going to be discriminated against because of these people. And like you said, when it comes to faith, I try not to talk about faith a lot too, because of the profession that I'm in. But at the same time, I just thank God that he blessed you with Ethan as his mom, because
thank you.
Some people kind of, they just, they'll learn about things and they'll try to figure out things, but then if they feel like the trek is too hard, they'll give up. But you're trying and you're also putting it out there, and I love that you're so motivated and moved to make this a worldwide thing and not just keep it, in the Bronx. And I'm from the Bronx, so that's another little tie that brought me to you as well. But
thank you.
We want to thank you so much for being on the show this morning and sharing your story. And you have me like a little choked up over here too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
It's fine. These are the type of stories that we like to get out there. And Eliza and I feel like we've done a great job of really connecting the community and connecting things that are real issues that don't get a lot of insight and play. Right. So if you want to kind of promote some of the things that Ethan's little piece has coming up, and also tell people how to get in contact with you, you could do that now.
No problem. We are trying to organize an Autism Family Stick Together barbecue, hopefully in June or July. However, I need to have, a definite, not a definite list, but a list of people who may come to know that it will be financially okay for me to do, only because I don't get funding. I do everything from my pocket, and really I'm unemployed. I'm doing this. This is something I'm trying to start a business. I'm trying to get this moving. I'm really dedicated to this, so I do need help from the community, and it doesn't always have to be cash. It can be, willing to volunteer, can bring tables, willing to bring food, things of this nature. My email address is Ethan's Little Piece, ETHAN, Little Piece, at gmail.com. It's Ethan's Little Piece with an S, ETHANS. Ethan's Little Piece at gmail.com. Also, this Sunday, let me take the chance to wish all the mothers listening and, their mothers and just everybody a wonderful, happy Mother's Day. My son will be turning 9 years old. And when I asked him to say what he wanted for his birthday, he just said cards. So if anybody would like to send him a birthday card, I'm sure he won't mind if it's a couple of days late. Our P.O. Box is Ethan's Little Piece at P.O. Box 753-024, Bronx, New York, 10475. We have our blog page, which is ethanslittlepiece.com. Our Insta 53024, Bronx, New York, 10475. We have our blog page, which is ethanslittlepiece.com. Our Instagram is Ethan's Little Piece, and our Twitter is Ethan's Piece.
Awesome.
So for anybody interested, please check us out. I monitor the page myself. I am available, and I try to get back to everybody who gets to us.
Well, thank you so much, Barbara.
Thanks,
Again,
Barbara.
we truly appreciate it, and it was a very impactful segment on this show, for sure.
No, thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the listeners for listening, and I hope to hear from some of them.
Of course. Well, have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Mother's Day.
You too. Awesome. Thank you so much.